Okay. I am Novella Klein, one of the client success specialists here at InnoVint. And today I'm going to walk you through fermentation tracking in InnoVint. Just so you know, we hosted part 1 of our harvest series last month, where we covered pre-fermentation, preparing, receiving, and processing fruit. You can find this recording in our online support center under the InnoVint Academy. Today, we will go through fermentation tracking, including cap management and harvest analysis. If your team attended both sessions, you'll be entered for a chance to win a harvest care package for your entire team. Okay, let's go over our agenda. Today, we're going to be covering fermentation worksheets, entering and tracking harvest analyses, viewing harvest analyses, and how to drain and press and barrel down, plus touching on our new mobile experience. Okay, let's hop over to InnoVint. I'm also going to stop video so you have a bigger screen. Okay. Your fruit has been received and processed into tanks and bins. Now what? First, I recommend looking at your winery dashboard to get a good overview of where you're at. You can see your current barrel and tank availability, work orders in progress, as well as some recent activities and notes, and get an overview of where your lots are by stage and your volume by varietal, as well as comparing vintages of weight received. So just a reminder for that. Next, let's hop over to our fermentation worksheets. You can access this via your left-hand navigation worksheets, and we have it for either tanks and bins or smaller vessels of barrels, steel drums, kegs, and carboys. I'm going to start with tanks and bins today. This is a great report and work order generator to have a good overview of everything going on in the winery. We internally refer to it as the FermGen. It's our go-to spot for deciding what actions we want during the day and for future work, whether that be bricks and temps, additions, or cap management. Just for reference, I do recommend zooming out so you can get an overview of this, and then we can zoom in when we actually start recording work. To give you an idea of what is in this report, first, this report does filter for tanks and bins in the stages of process, fermenting, settling, and cold soak. So just remember that. If something is missing, check up on that stage. Next, you'll see we list it by vessel and then by lot code. You can also access those lot details or vessel details page by clicking on those quickly. Next, you'll see that we provide what stage the lot is in to give you a reminder of where it's at. Additionally, we show the contents, whether that's in weight or volume for your account. Next, you'll see the day that it was processed. So the day a processed fruit to volume or processed fruit to weight was recorded. This next section shows all your recent activity. So the first set are recent actions that have occurred on the lot. Next, you'll see any open work orders or submitted work orders on a lot, as well as recent additions, which you can also click into any of these actions to go directly to them. Lastly, you'll notice this little brown triangle. This happens when there has been no recent cap management performed on red fermenters. So it reminds you that you probably need to record or schedule a punch down, pump over, delisage, or pulsar. So that's a good little reminder as well. Next, you'll notice we show your bricks and temp trend lines. This is a great way to have a visual way to monitor your ferments. We also display the most recent reading and the date and time it was recorded. If you prefer to see the 3 most recent values, you can click on Show Recent Values, and it'll just show you those 3 instead. But I prefer to use the trend lines. Additionally, you can always click on the analysis value, and it will open the lot details page and go to the bricks and temp graph so you can see a more in-depth view of that. Don't forget, you can toggle between lot composite and specific vessels in this report. Okay, back to the FermGen. The next section over here is where you can request work. So we have the ability to ask for a certain panel, which you create during an analysis action. You have the ability to request additions. So make sure your dry goods is up to date with all your current additives for this vintage. Next, you can select other fermentation tasks. So all the cap management plus dry ice and stirring. Don't forget that you can always record these actions in both the mobile app or via a direct action where you can find them under fermentation actions. So there's a few spots for that. Lastly, if you are going to use this as the powerhouse work order generator it is, you can assign these to a certain worker and then create those work orders. So we also show the vessel over here on the right for easy reference when filling out this work. So that's a good little overview of what is in this report. Now let's start planning the day out. You've had enough coffee by now to think clearly after that late night of processing. Let's start by checking in on the title. This is completely editable and up to you. If you do punch downs and cap management multiple times a day, you can easily add AM or PM to the front of the work order title, or you can select none if you don't want anything to populate there. Next, let's look at the orders of the vessels. It's really easy to organize all these as all of the headers are sortable. So you can always click on them to organize them. So if you want to group everything by stage or by process state or by your recent bricks readings, for example, click again, it sorts the other direction. This works across most all of our reports as well. So because it often takes quite a bit of time to fill out this entire report, I highly recommend using a draft, or if you do create a work order from it, you can pull up that last work order you created. I'm going to start with this draft that I used yesterday for punch downs. Today, I'd like to sort this list by my bricks readings because I want to get those higher sugar ones done first before my dry lots. So that way they don't cross-contaminate. Okay. Also, we do have a really cool thing where you can drag and drop. So I want to put all of my whites and rosés together. So let's just go ahead and kind of rearrange this based on the order I want these sugars done. Perfect. Get these reds up here to the top. This gives you so much flexibility. It's really great. Okay. And if you do save this as a draft, which I highly recommend if you're not generating work orders, it will save this rearranged order, which is great. I can also see I have 3 recent lots that I just brought in yesterday at the bottom. So I can tell that by process and that there's been no recorded bricks and temps on them. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit and check out where we want to request our activities. So you can bulk add analysis and assign to using this caret at the top. So this is the list of all my available panels that I have created. I'm going to stick with bricks and temps, but I am going to record and request a pull sample juice panel. Since this is new juice, I like to add pull sample to the panel name to let my seller staff know that they should pull a sample for the lab. So let's go ahead and request that. Next, I want to go ahead and request an inoculation that I know that needs to get done. So let's go ahead and find the tank. I know it's tank 22, and let's go ahead and add additives. So first, I'm going to go ahead and add some nutrients. Find that nutrients, and here it is. Next, I'm going to add my yeast. So you can add as many additives as you like using this add additive button. So I'm not sure what I have in inventory. So I'm just going to search for yeast and I can see all my available examples. I'm going to pick this N83. Now I wanted to up the addition rate on my nutrients a little bit. So I can easily just update this here and it automatically updates my calculated down below. Additionally, you'll notice that this is one of my rosé lots. And because I've added an accent to the E in the lot name, my lot dot color is pink. So that's a nice little quick trick as well. Okay, let's go ahead and apply the calculated amount. Perfect. If I have any additional notes I would like to add, I can add them up here. Now I'm going to go ahead and add task. I'll now find that in the FirmGen with the 2 product types as well as the amount requested. Okay, now that my additions are good, I'm going to go over and look at my cap management. So I can easily edit any of these. You can take them away. So for example, I no longer want a pump over there. Remove task, and let's make it a punch down instead. If you have any instructions, add them now. Okay, got a couple pump overs I would like, and everything else looks good. Let's maybe add some dry ice to our new red ferments as well. Let's just do 2 scoops. You can also add as many additional tasks that you want. So if you want to do dry ice after a punch down, you can easily do that. Okay, now go ahead and make sure that all of your cap management is as you like. Don't forget that you can record them up here. And if you have a different type of cap management, like foot stomping, or if you want to record cold soak on the history and not just utilize it as a stage, go ahead and record a custom action and change the title with the little blue pencil. That way it'll show up in your lot history. Okay. Next, we need to assign all this work. You can easily assign it to one person, like I said, using this caret. So let's go ahead and apply it all to my seller team. Now, I have a couple things that I want to assign to specific people. You'll notice that once you start adding multiple people, each person gets their own color across the FirmGen to let you easily see which tasks are assigned to which person. I'm also going to assign my new lots to one of my seller team in the lab. Okay, so as long as someone has been assigned to something and there are action tasks here, it will generate a work order. You can see because there are 3 separate people in this work order that it will generate 3 work orders. Another option is that you can print worksheet, which just basically prints all of the actions requested. So which lots you want to record analysis on, have additives for, or have fermentation actions. This is a great tool to bring around in the cellar with you. Additionally, I do recommend saving as a draft if you do not create work orders from it. That way you can easily start tomorrow or afternoon punch downs with the draft going. Additionally, if you do have our owner-based permissions activated, you will have another column on the left with the owner tag. You can always create a work order and assign it per owner for the work order. Select a due date and then go back and clear and assign it to correct team. The drag and drop makes it nice and easy to be able to group the same owners together. And then you're able to create multiple work orders from this one interface. Okay. Now, down here at the bottom is where you would select a due date for a work order, and then you do have to push the green button to actually create those work orders. Don't forget that you can always clear fields if you want to start fresh. Additionally, I will mention that the FirmGen for barrels, steel drums, kegs, and carboys is based on a lot basis. So if you do want to track individual barrels using the FirmGen, we highly recommend making one lot code per vessel. Okay, let's create those 3 work orders. Now we'll be able to head over to our work order explorer and find them. Okay, we can see those 3 work orders we just created to the 3 different people. Let's go ahead and start one. You can see you can go ahead and start your task. Fill it out. And then complete task. Now, if these are all set, ready to go, you can utilize our new individual task submit by just clicking this button. And you can always change between our 3 submission types. Submit task as of now, as of a specific date and time, so like our backdating works, or as of time of task completion. I'm just going to do as time of now and go ahead and submit that task. Now I can go ahead and start the next one. If I had any notes I wanted to add, like maybe it was a little stinky or there was some, something on the top or something I wanted to inform anyone of, adding a note is a great place to do that. You can also add a photo note if you like. Then complete task. And then if I'm ready to start the next one and I don't want to utilize individual task submit, I can double click on this to kind of move on down. So then let's go ahead and start this next one. Oops. Okay, complete task. Let's get and hide it and then start my final pump over. Okay, now that all my tasks are complete, I can come down and submit my work order. Once again, I have those 3 options as well. If you have a default, as you can see this task as of now is, you can set that in your settings. So go ahead and do that if one of these is your most frequently used. Okay, let's submit. Don't forget that you can also submit and work on these work orders from your iOS mobile app. Okay, this work order workflow works really nicely when you need to schedule your work and request the work to be done by your seller team. Now, if you're perhaps a smaller winery or only have a couple of people doing the work and want to record in real time or quickly after morning sugars are complete, there's a few different options as well. One is to utilize the FirmGen and use that print worksheet view, which is really great to get all your lots and request work and be able to just take it and go into the seller. Another option that I really like is to utilize a custom analysis report, especially the one for individual vessel. I've created one here for daily bricks and temps. You can update the filters to whatever stages you want. So if you wanted, for example, to add NML because you did a co-inoculation this year, you can add that stage in as well. Next, enter any analysis that you want to check in on a daily basis, and then maybe see the last 3 readings. Now I can see everything in one place. So I like to print this out and take it with me in the cellar, and then just write down the new bricks and temps over here on the right. Once you've recorded your bricks and temps on either this sheet or the printed FirmGen sheet, or if you're just walking through your Lot Explorer doing it, you have your numbers. How do you get them in? If you're just doing it straight time in the cellar, you can always use the mobile app and do it right away, both the original iOS one and our new mobile experience. You can also record fermentation actions using the apps as well. Otherwise, you can enter them all at once after the morning sugars. I recommend using the analysis import action. This is a great way to quickly add everything at once. So just add those recorded bricks into a CSV file and upload them. If you have a DMA that generates a CSV file, just reformat it to our guidelines and then you can add that in quickly as well. Also, you can always record them as a direct action if you prefer as well, or using the mobile app. Okay, morning cap management and sugars are done. They've been uploaded into the system. What's next? Let's check in with the lab. Hopefully they've received their samples for more in-depth analysis and are tracking those ferments. The lab can also input their analysis using the analysis import tool or as direct actions, or through a requested work order. If you utilize our ETS or TankNet integrations, the samples will automatically link to InnoVint. Please check out our previous InnoVint Academy on entering and tracking analysis for a deep dive into recording options. So your lab team wants to monitor stuff as they get dry. What do we recommend? Well, I would recommend utilizing this custom winemaking report again. Maybe take out the stages of processed and cold soak and settling, keep it with fermenting and ML, and maybe update your analyses to be maybe bricks and blue and malic. And then finally, SO2, kind of what you're going to be monitoring when it gets to the end of its life. And then let's also see 3 readings. So let's go ahead and update this report. So then the lab, if they save this as a new report, let's just call it dry lot monitoring. It'll now be available in that list, and they can reference this to see what things they're needing to do. Okay, harvest is cruising along, and you finally built up your biceps to handle those punch downs and mastered the quickest time for digging out a tank. It's time to press and barrel down your reds. Let's go ahead and record a drain and press. So you are free to add in any notes that you have. Next, let's go ahead and find our lot that's dry and ready to press. Now, the drain and press action only permits draining 1 lot at a time. So if you need to record multiple drain and presses, be sure to record multiple actions. But we do allow you to partially press or press the whole lot. So if you're only going to partial press, only select the vessels that are getting drained and pressed. Next, you're going to have to decide if you want to separate your free run or combine it. I'm going to separate it for this example. Next, you'll get to decide whether you want to retain your lot code, combine with an existing lot, or create a new lot. So let's go ahead and select our vessels. Okay, I've selected my tank to drain into, and I know it has a dip of 400. See how easy that was? I got my fill so quickly. Next, I'm going to go ahead and enter my press fraction information. If you have additional press fractions, you can always add more using the plus add fraction button. I'm going to go ahead and combine with an existing lot because I pre-made my press lot. Or if you have a lot that you're just pressing into every time, select that one. Next, go ahead and select your vessels. I am going to choose 2 barrels today. And I'm going to fill them both to capacity. Okay. Got to enter my press fraction information. Okay. If you have any specific instructions you would like to inform your seller staff or that you want to record on the action, enter those in the press instructions. Now, as you scroll to the bottom, you'll see our drain and press summary. Here you'll get an idea of how many tons you started with and then how many gallons you had at the end and what that yield is, as well as any weight remaining in that lot. And you'll see a total gallons for both your free run and then whatever your press lot is. At this time, you also have the option to update your lot stage if you would like. So if you want to change it to a different one, feel free to. Additionally, as with all our actions, you have the ability to backdate. So review this, and then when you're ready, record the drain and press. Now let's say you barrel down, but you drain and press, and you know that that tank, you're going to want to barrel down in a couple days, get it off its leaves. So let's go ahead and schedule that in a work order. You can create a work order either from this global button or from your work order explorer. Let's go ahead and add a task of barrel down. And I decided that I'd like to inoculate for ML right afterwards. So let's go ahead and add an addition task as well. Give your work order a title. And then add any notes that you would like here as well. Choose your lot and your vessels. Now you can decide if you'd like to retain the lot code, combine with existing, or create a new one, as well as if you would like to barrel down to more than one lot at a time. So if you're splitting it up, you could do that here. I'm going to go ahead and choose specific vessels because I know that for this wine, I predetermined what barrels I wanted to use. One of the good InnoVint quick tips is that before harvest, or whenever you know if there are specific barrels that you want to use on a lot, I like to add a tag to the barrel with the lot code. That way, when I am ready to barrel down, I can quickly find those barrels and make sure they don't get used for a different lot. Additionally, we have these quick add buttons, either select all vessels on page or add all vessels, which are the same for this example, to quickly add them to my picker over here. And then I'm going to select those vessels. Now I'm ready to fill those vessels. I'm going to use this carrot, and because we're not quite dry yet, I don't want to fill them to capacity. I'm going to just do 58 gallons. If you're wondering what the capacity is, you can always show capacities here. And I remembered that I added a couple punch-ins to this list. So let's go ahead and just update those. Okay, next you have to decide whether you want to save the lease to a different lot. Yes or no? I do want to save it to a different lot, and I'm going to go ahead and combine it with an existing lot where I keep all my lease. And then I'm going to choose a specific vessel. Let's go ahead and choose a keg, or let's choose a barrel. Perfect. And I think I ended up with 6 barrels. So you can always just, if it's an empty vessel, add it to the add, how many gallons you added, or if there was volume in it and you knew what the final volume is, you could enter over here. Either of these work. Now I see a summary at the bottom. I see I barreled down from 1 tank to 15 barrels plus a lease lot. Perfect, with a net change of 0, because that always happens, right? Okay, let's go and get this addition prepped. I'm going to go ahead and select my malobacteria. Confirm my addition rate. And then I'm going to select my lot. Then I'm going to let my seller staff choose vessels because it's right after this barrel down. Finally, you assign it to your team. And then I think this will probably happen maybe on Sunday. Let's ask for this for Sunday. And then we can go ahead and create that work order. Now, once this work order happens, let's head over to that lot details page. You can now see that barrel down in my open work orders. Once that barrel down gets complete, there's a couple things I recommend. The first is updating the stage. You can do that here, and you would then change it to ML since it's now been inoculated for ML. Also, whenever that lot is ready to be topped up to capacity, I recommend recording a top off. This action right here, that will fill the volume to capacity. A topping action does not generate any change in volume. So only use this when you're doing angel share. Whereas the top off is great for after filling from firm height or when stuff is a little low or just getting filled to capacity. Okay. Now, the other way that you can update stages is back from the Lot Explorer. This is a great place where if you have multiple lots that got ML added or sulfur added, that you can set the stage across lots. This is also a great place to edit tags or archive and unarchive lots. These same options are found in the Vessel Explorer. So that edit tags on vessels is the option I used to add those tags to the barrels for that barreling down. So just a quick little tip. Okay, now you've entered a lot of information. You want to know where you can find your analysis. If we click back into our lot details page, this is a great place to see where all of that analysis was entered. This is based on lot stage, so it changes once you update from fermenting to aging. Additionally, the analysis tab is a great spot to be able to view all analysis on your lot. We have it available group by date, group by vessel, that bricks temp graph I showed you earlier, and also just to point out this all analysis in a list. This is a great spot if you need to update any values because they're incorrect, or if you need to delete them. And don't forget, you can always record other actions that are harvest related using the record action button. So if you have transfers or rackings or any other rack and returns that are occurring, don't forget, these are always available to use for your harvest needs. Okay, so I just want to remind you that the few places you should put on your radar to check every day are the firm gen report to see your bricks and temps, those custom analysis reports to customize to your needs and what analysis are important. And also that lot details page, it's a great spot. Additionally, if you're looking for specific lots, don't forget to utilize this global search bar at the top. Here you can easily and quickly find that one lot or that one barrel that you're looking for. And this will search for lots, vessels, work orders, vineyards, and notes. So it's a great place to be able to quickly find information. So now you know what to do with all of your lots during harvest. Next, I highly recommend becoming familiar with our new online support center. This has a lot of really great resources, such as this harvest section with lots of great workflows, as well as this guidance and FAQ section. And then lastly, here is the Academy section where you can find part 1 of the harvest series, as well as other items. And lastly, the software release notes will show you what has been newly released and is good to use. Additionally, you can always submit a help ticket using the submit a help ticket, or as always, you can email us at support@innovint.us. Okay, let's switch back over to slides and I will turn on my video. Okay, so what are some helpful tips and tricks for harvest? Definitely check out our pre-harvest checklist. This is a great tool to do things to prepare you, such as updating weigh tag settings and just making sure that everything is good to go. If you like, you can always get our ETS or TankNet integration for a quick and easy upload of analysis. And if you have a DMA or FOSS, if they export a CSV, we can easily import that. We're going to be releasing some more information on the DMA process soon. Additionally, I definitely recommend setting up your dip charts because that is a great time saving in the cellar. Next, let's touch on our new mobile experience. This was just launched yesterday. It has a fun and joyful look and is super fast and seamless. Access it from your left-hand navigation, scan the QR code, and get it added to your phone and mobile devices. I highly recommend checking out our development team's documentation for how to add it to your home screen, what its capabilities are, and what other exciting things are on the roadmap for this. A few highlights I want to point out are its amazing offline mode. So if you're in the vineyard or deep in the caves, you can enter analysis, and then as soon as you're back online, they'll automatically sync. How cool is that? Additionally, this app can be used on Android. Yay! Finally, here you go, guys. I also want to mention that we still have our original iOS app, which we're now calling our work order app, where you can still submit and complete work orders. So that's the place to do that. As a reminder, this experience is still in beta, and so we're super excited to get it in your hands and get your feedback, which you can do if you scroll down to the bottom. We are looking forward to hearing from you, and keep an eye out for frequent releases and exciting updates to the app. Okay, I want to thank everyone for joining us today, and if there's any additional questions, please submit them using the Q&A. below. I'll give you a couple minutes. And as always, if you do have more questions after the fact, you're like, oh my God, I just remembered, you can always email us as well. Yes, beta is available for everyone. It is in your left-hand navigation, so go find it. Everyone has access to it. So in order to print paper work orders, question we just got, you can either go into the work order and print them, or utilize the FirmGen. The print worksheet view also works. Certain of the work orders have our upgraded print view, so you'll find those actions, it says it within the work order. Let's see. Okay. So an easy way to see yields after harvest. In your vineyards block page, if you go to the block page, and I believe the vintages tab, you can see what tonnage you got off your vineyard block, as well as how many gallons or liters were produced. Additionally, I also recommend checking out your winery activity feed and searching for process fruit to volume or drain and press actions, because those will all show you your yield of how many gallons per ton you got. Yes, this video will be recorded. It was recorded, and we will email it out to you. And it will be posted in our online support center. The mobile app is optimized for iPad as well. So you can use it on any tablet, Android, iPhone, iPad, whatever works. Okay, another question here. If you do have our costing feature activated, you can add in your cost per ton. Yes, there are a few different ways. So check out our online support articles. One of them is utilizing the fruit cost worksheet. Another one is updating your contract, or updating the cost using the vintages tab in your block details page. So you can use both the work order mobile app or the new experience to record bricks and temps and all those fermentation actions, as well as adding notes and tags as well, tags to vessels and notes to lots and vessels as well. The good thing about the new one is that you can do it offline. So if you don't have service for some reason, you can submit them and then they'll upload once you get back online. So both, you can use either mobile app. All righty, that looks like it's about it. So I want to thank everyone for joining me today, and we are so excited for you guys to jump into harvest, and please let us know if you have any additional questions. We're going to take a slight harvest pause on the Academy, and we'll be back at it in November, and looking forward to seeing you then and hearing how your harvest went. We want to wish everyone a successful harvest, and thank you so much for joining us today.